Okay, good afternoon, Ben. It's a pleasure to meet you. I know we exchanged emails through LinkedIn a while ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Sure.
And then I reconnected with you this week as I was looking for someone on a short notice. So thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, great. So then maybe since I don't know you too well and you probably don't know me too well either, I will start maybe by asking you who you are and in general how you got to do Engage as You Age.
All right. So I'm a San Francisco resident for about 15 years,
Yeah.
and I fell into sort of working with seniors primarily as a volunteer when I first moved out here.
Okay.
I'd left a graduate program after getting my master's in African American history and met a woman in her 60s with a 90-year-old mother.
Oh.
And Leslie, the 60-year-old, said, "You should meet my mom, Anna. She's awesome. She's an old lefty." And my background was in lefty history. And I said, "Sure, I'd be happy to meet with her."
Okay.
And she plied me with a bowl of chocolate, and we just started to talk.
Okay.
And Anna lived at a community in San Francisco where she was largely stuck in bed,
Oh.
and was actually tethered to an oxygen tank, but had a really sharp mind still.
The one who was 90?
Yeah, her 60-year-old daughter was bopping around doing her thing and visited her mom quite often, but bringing sort of someone else outside of the family into
Yeah.
Anna's life made a
Yeah.
really huge difference.
Wow.
And Anna basically couldn't read because she had macular degeneration. So I'd bring in New Yorker shorts and sort of things from my life that I knew she'd be interested in, and we
Wow.
sort of connected around that. So I'd munch on some black licorice and chocolate and read to her, and really got to know her. And I was sort of the action. And typically in these communities, there's a lot of arts and crafts, but not everyone loves arts and crafts. She
Yeah.
was looking for strong conversations. So
So you did that.
for a couple of years, and
So basically, you went to visit her more than once?
oh yeah, on a weekly basis, once or twice a week after my
Oh,
day
wow.
job,
Wow.
and the family sort of saw what I did for her being really meaningful and asked me, "Can you clone yourself?" So I found other people that would tap into her interests, like opera, documentary film,
To talk to her.
to talk to her and sort of bring the outside world to her.
Okay.
And what happened was she loved it, and after 2 years, she passed away, unfortunately.
Oh,
She was 92 or 93 at the time.
okay.
And her family was really touched by what I had done. So they, in the obituary, asked that money be sent to me to sort of recreate what I
Start.
had done for her for other people.
Wow, they helped you start the organization.
Yes and no. It was the impetus behind it. What
Okay.
it did for me was it made me take a real look at my own life. And I said, I'm not married. I don't have a kid. Both I have now, and I'm happily married with a kid. But what happened was, my parents said, if you're ever going to start something in your life, it's best to do it when life's simple. And I sort of went for it. And originally, I thought it'd be a nonprofit, and I spent a lot of time researching foundations. And what I found was there wasn't a lot of money out there for one-on-one socialization.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to set up a for-profit organization, and we don't advertise this on our website, but we work a lot with HUD communities and other places at cost
Yeah.
to provide activities both individually and for groups. So
Oh,
it's a way that we don't have to focus on fundraising, and
yeah.
we can focus primarily on just finding great people to connect with seniors.
Wow. And you were able to accomplish that goal?
Oh yeah, I mean we've been up and running for 10 years. I
Wow.
roughly 10 years. I started
So you do find people.
wonderful human beings, and we actually pay them. So the way it works is the demographics have shifted in the Bay Area. Certainly, as you hear the statistics on the
Yeah.
cost of
Yeah.
living in this,
People are getting older.
not just age, but it's just a heck of a lot more expensive to live in the Bay Area.
Of course, yes.
So when I started 10 years ago, you'd have someone with an undergraduate degree in philosophy from Middlebury that worked a corporate job that decided they wanted to be an artist in their mid-30s full time.
Yeah.
So they would work for me a handful of hours a week. They
And then
would work in a restaurant at night, paint by day.
And spend a few hours with the elderly.
Yeah, and find a way to cover the cost of living out here. And
Yeah.
maybe 7, 8 years ago, they moved to Oakland.
Yeah.
And then they moved to Antioch. And now a lot of them are back in Arkansas and other places just because it's gotten really expensive.
Okay.
I've certainly hired lots of people that sort of fit that description recently,
Yeah.
but I'm hiring a lot of people that maybe have a partner that works at Apple and makes $500,000 a year. And
They still want an occupation.
they want to start to sort of work a bit as their kids get older,
Oh.
or maybe it's someone that's recently retired. There's still interesting types out there that find a way to make it work in the Bay Area. It's just a lot harder to find, quote unquote, creatively employed people. So I spend all of my time
Connecting people.
screening and vetting really good human beings.
Really?
It could be the flexibly employed music teacher that gets paid a lot of money to teach kids in Palo Alto and, sort of she fancy areas like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And is willing to take a significant pay cut to work for us a handful of hours a week in the morning when there aren't so many kids to teach the piano or clarinet to.
Yeah, yeah. Like you mentioned, it's very expensive to live in the Bay Area. I heard that one bedroom in Palo Alto is like 5,800. I don't know how people can pay it.
It's really mind-boggling. And to be candid, when I started this, my original focus was let's find some socially isolated seniors that I can help.
And then you help the other person pay their bills. Yes.
And the real shift has been I don't worry 10 years into this about finding seniors and people that benefit from our services.
Yeah.
We spend literally 95% of our time focused on finding good human
people.
beings to visit the seniors. It's
The children pay for the service?
sometimes someone directly pays us for services.
Okay.
It's rare. It's so someone might want a computer lesson or sort of consistent computer lessons, or
I ran into that myself. Older people, they don't know how to use a computer.
some do, and there are plenty of younger people that struggle, with computers on
No, I
some
mean,
level.
let's say maybe a generation ahead of mine, they
Sure.
do need some coaching.
So that's a great sort of way to get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
But more often than not, it's someone's partner, a husband or wife, or it's the children or a niece or a nephew
That want to do it.
that reach out to us and say, look, I'm 67. My husband has early onset Alzheimer's. He's in his 60s.
He needs some help.
I still have an active professional career, and I'm not willing to be a full-time caregiver right now.
Really?
He's okay on his own, but I'd love to bring something meaningful to him a handful of times a week.
Oh.
So we'll come in and connect with someone around their interests, whether it's taking them out or coming to the home, and that person can sort of work guilt-free. There are also cases where someone's physically stuck in bed, has a caregiver 24 hours a day, or someone's in an assisted living and they're higher functioning than the other residents in the memory care unit. We make them feel normal
So
and
you like an
connected.
employment agency somehow, since you always look for people to work?
Yes and no.
But it's a service more than a job.
So I meet with every single family that we work with. I
Okay.
literally walk into the home.
Okay,
so
it's not
that-
just a call in,
And I literally enter the home, meet the family,
and you
figure
know
out.
their needs.
They tell me their needs. I might have a slightly different perspective, and we look at the Venn
Yeah.
diagram and figure out what overlaps.
Yes.
But ultimately, what I'm trying to do is sort of figure out, one, is this a safe situation for me to bring someone into?
Yeah.
Maybe a family reaches out to us and what they really need
Yeah.
is someone to cook and clean,
Oh.
or there are real physical safety issues with that
Yeah.
person living alone.
It's very much specialized kind of service.
I don't want to be a Band-Aid on a hemorrhage, right?
Right,
I want to be sort
right.
of the whistles and bells, on
Yeah.
top of a solid foundation.
It's like custom matching. You got to make sure the two people match, right?
Yeah, and the challenge with my work is you sort of look at resumes and
Yeah.
you say, oh, this person has a background in this or that.
Yeah.
More often than not, it's like, do these two people click, right? And it's a gut level thing of like,
Yeah.
who can I bring into this person's life that's going to make them drop their shoulders, feel comfortable,
Yeah.
and feel connected, and just assume this great person's sort of fallen into their lap in their life.
Wow.
So it's a real challenge, but when you make it click, it's pretty cool, and you see pairings go for years.
Yeah. I've seen something on Facebook where young people visit older people homes and stuff just to cheer them up.
It's not just younger people. So it's, what I'll tell you is sometimes you take someone that's 93 years old and bedridden.
Okay.
The recipe isn't necessarily to bring in a 25-year-old.
Oh, really?
It could be someone that's closer in age. Could be someone in their 80s.
Really?
It could be someone in their 60s.
Maybe they have something in common to talk about.
Yeah, it's really like, who's going to make this person happy, and what's the
Okay.
right recipe? It could
Do
be.
you ask them what they want?
Yeah, Not directly so much. You know, occasionally someone will be, look, I want someone to talk to me about Russian literature.
Okay.
I'm not going to bring in someone that's never read Russian literature.
Okay, so there's a lot of mix and matching kind of
I'm
thing.
walking into a home and the person that I'm assessing and getting to know
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily understand the nuts and bolts of my program,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So their husband, their wife, their partner, their niece, nephew, whoever has called us, and oftentimes they're introducing me as someone that is a friend of a friend, or
Oh.
this is this nice guy
A
Ben.
referral, a
We thought he
referral.
might be able to help us in some way.
Yeah.
Rather than saying we're bringing over Ben from Engage as You Age, who's going to come here and figure out who can be your paid buddy. I mean, that feels pretty awful. Like, imagine if I said to you, do you want to pay someone on an hourly basis
Yeah.
to make you feel normal and connected?
Um, Not at my age. Maybe in a few years.
There's still something a little, it doesn't feel right. It's not, all of my defenses would come up and I would
Yeah.
say, why do I need to pay someone for a friend?
Yeah.
And we're working with people more often than not that there's something going on that necessitates sort of our program coming into their life.
Okay, okay.
So it's someone living in an assisted living
Yeah.
that is a little too repetitive for some of the
Oh.
other residents.
Okay.
That it's you're back in high school and there's social cliques and the person's kind of socially ostracized.
Okay.
And
Okay. So there's something
we
going
make
on.
that person feel normal. So when Betty or Steve or Sally or Sue comes through the door on a
Yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday or what have you,
Yeah.
the person we're visiting, says, hey, my friend's here. Cool. They're going to take me to the museum. They're going to come work on the computer with me. Whatever it is we're doing, we're making that person feel normal.
Okay.
And when that person or a different resident is in a memory care unit, particularly early on, they might be much more higher functioning than the other residents there. And they don't want to play, balloon toss and sort of, I hate to put it, kind of silly games that, someone that's higher functioning is not dying to do on a daily basis. So we bring someone in that makes that person feel normal and connected. And the person we're bringing in is trained to connect with them, is patient, understands the nuances of various types of dementias and other, things going on with
So
someone.
they do have an issue.
Something has to be happening
Yeah.
for us to come into their life. I'll give you an example. A son out on the East Coast lives in Boston.
Okay.
Called me about 4 months ago.
Okay.
Says, my mom lives independently. She's sort of right on the edge of needing more help.
Okay.
She lives in a real jazzy co-op or condo building, sort of in the north part of San Francisco, right on
Okay.
a park.
I'd like someone to visit.
She doesn't say she wants someone to visit, but frankly, her son who lives on the East Coast,
Would like.
he can sort of pepper the door person, with questions in the building.
Yeah.
And says, make sure my mom doesn't wander out at 3 a.m.
Right.
But what he's looking for is someone to come in once a week,
Yeah.
make his mom feel connected and happy,
Okay.
and also report back to him.
How is she doing?
So what I did in that case was this woman loves art museums, has memberships to everyone you can imagine,
Yeah.
and says, I don't like going by myself.
Wow.
And I said, hey, I might have a friend that enjoys going to art museums. So I introduced her to a friend that works for me, who's actually become a friend because she's worked for Engage for like 6 years now.
Right.
And I matched her up with this woman, and
Yeah.
they go out once a week. And they go to the
Awesome.
art museum, and then the Engage employee reports back via our online system and says what's happening, any concerns, if she's noticed any confusion or things like that. We relay a report back to the son on a weekly basis so that he sort of knows what's going on. And while we can't be there 24 hours a day,
Of course, yeah.
he's coming out every 2.5, 3 months, and we're
Just
able to give
to-
him a data point on a weekly basis.
That's awesome. But when you said this fell on your lap, kind of, as a service.
Oh, sort of doing this
Yeah,
professionally?
about
Sure.
it. Yeah, but when you were in school, you had other plans.
Oh, sure. Yeah. As an undergraduate, I studied cognitive psychology and African American studies.
Yeah,
And I thought at the time I wanted to
to be a teacher, maybe.
be a professor. So I got into a great grad program in history and African American studies.
And you did it.
And it was fully funded. Got my master's.
Can
Uh,
you teach now?
Not at a university. I mean, tenure track jobs are few and far between in academia, but my art wasn't in it.
Okay.
So I left it after getting my master's. And while I don't necessarily have a degree in geriatrics or something along those lines,
You understand.
I read people well. I like human beings, and I feel like I'm a good assessor of people's
Of the
people's ability to show up on time, have common sense, and have a real reason that makes sense as to why they want to work, say, 2 to 6 hours a week for
do they
Engage.
meet you too? They both parties meet you?
Oh yeah, so everyone we actually hire is full-time employees.
Okay.
These are people that not contractors in a world where everyone seems to want to hire everyone as a contractor because
Oh,
it's
I thought they
cheaper.
were contractors.
No, these are full-fledged employees working 2 or 6 hours a week. And
Really?
they could be a bit more in a handful of
You
instances.
send them in different places then.
To visit one person maybe once or twice a week or see two people once a week each.
So they might have more than one person.
Yeah, but we're not talking like stacking 5 or 6 people up. The idea is
Okay.
you visit one or two people
Get to know them.
and really have a meaningful connection. But by hiring them as employees,
Yeah.
the benefit to us is we can control them. We can tell them what to do, what not to do. We run background checks, check references. They're covered under
Is-
our liability insurance. They're bonded.
Oh.
But the real key is, as an employee, we can tell them when to be somewhere, how to do it. We can say you don't mess with medications. You're not there to cook and clean. You're not there to really physically assist
That's
someone.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. There's a little bit more checking on them.
And they report back after each session. And the key to me is the added cost is worth every penny because I couldn't in good conscience send someone into someone's life as a contractor and say, hey,
There it is.
you can trust and count on them to execute because I can't tell them what to do as a contractor in the same way I can as an employee.
Mm-hmm. When you say the extra cost is you pay Social Security for them.
Yeah, and other taxes, and it's worth every penny,
Oh,
to
okay.
me.
Okay.
It's because you're talking about, I'm bringing someone into someone else's life
Yeah.
that's in a vulnerable situation.
Of course. Yeah.
Whether they might be a half step off conversationally at times and could be, easy target or mark, to be scammed, or someone that has some physical difficulties. I need to make sure that the person that works for me and
Yeah.
is coming into that person's life
Yeah.
really understands what they can and can't do.
Okay.
And I can't prepare someone for every imaginable scenario,
Yeah.
but I can prepare in that I bring someone in that has a lot of common sense, that knows when, hey, this wasn't in the 100-page handbook. This doesn't feel right. I need to call 911 or I need to check in with the office or something doesn't feel right here. Let me
Okay.
get a few more data points and then report back on that.
Yeah, I feel the name of the organization makes sense now that I spoke to you.
Sure.
It's just exactly what it says, engage as you age.
Yeah.
But you're not asking the person who needs to be engaged to call you. It's probably someone else who's calling you.
Yeah, so look, I certainly get phone calls, I'm lonely, I need some help.
Oh, okay.
And
It can happen.
on occasion,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd say at least 9 out of 10 people, if not nine
It's
and a half.
a member of the family.
Yeah, they don't understand it. We actually have a field in our database
Yeah.
called the white lie,
Okay.
which is sort of the backstory of how Joe or Sally
Get-
comes into that senior's life,
Oh, okay.
so that we can keep our story straight,
Okay.
just in case.
Okay. That's like the son introduced the person.
Yeah, or hey, I just happen to be, by your house all the time. I'm your neighbor. Live 3 blocks
Oh.
away.
To make it seem natural.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That sounds a great service. I mean, even though, how do you get people to find out that you even exist?
So day one, I remember going to my little office on 5th Street in Soma,
Yeah.
and literally creating a list of like assisted living facilities,
Oh.
geriatric
And
care
let them
managers,
know.
and cold calling. And with zero background in sales, it was totally awkward and uncomfortable for me to do. And what I realized was, 1 out of 100 would be responsive, gets my foot in the door, and really it's just
And you
sort of.
still do that?
Oh no, I haven't cold called anyone for probably 9 years.
Oh.
I mean, it really at this point it comes to us,
Oh,
which is
okay.
killer. So we do zero marketing. We're not trying to take over the world. My goal is not to serve 10,000 seniors a year.
You're only in the Bay Area or in other cities?
Oh, Bay Area.
Only
so,
Bay Area.
So we go as far north as say Novato, up in Marin,
Mm-hmm.
down to like Saratoga, down south, sort of all points in between. So you're looking at Marin County, San Francisco County, San Mateo, Santa Clara, Alameda, and Contra Costa County as well.
Wow.
So, on any given day, I'm matching up people to do a weaving project
Yeah.
in Danville.
Yeah.
And then the next week, I'm doing something in San Francisco where I'm introducing someone who's bedridden and just starved for someone to read to them,
Oh, wow.
to someone that works on my
If,
team.
if someone call in sick and can't make it, do you cover for them?
So it depends on the situation, right? So
Wow.
we have some clients that we absolutely need to be there no matter what, right?
Oh,
So that I'm going to make sure that someone on my team is going to be there. So
Right.
let's say that family were the only human connection for that person.
oh, okay.
Some families are very particular about needing us there at 1 o'clock on a Monday, no matter what.
Okay, okay.
So I do my best to have like a backup person ready,
Just in case.
or I'll send someone from my office. Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do really is we're not bringing insulin to a diabetic. We're bringing
course,
as
yeah.
vital as human conversation and connection is.
Yeah, yeah. You're not sending nurses.
My
No.
rule of thumb is if you're sick or feeling sick, don't
call
you dare
call a
contact us. But if you're feeling sick every week, you're supposed to visit someone.
yeah.
Something else is going on, and you're probably not the right person to work for us.
Yeah, yeah. You're not a service provider of assistant living or anything like that.
So like, there's a caregiving.
Yeah, yeah.
Business, for example,
the
which
city
we're
and
not.
county of San Francisco provides nurses for living, whatever.
Not the city and county, private home care agencies do.
Okay.
And there's also money through IHSS, in-home supportive services, where
They send nurses.
if you're
Okay.
low income, you get a certain pot of money where you can privately hire someone
Okay.
and pay them through the county.
Okay.
But in terms of like home care and caregiving, that's sort of someone that's coming in that's typically paid minimum wage,
Okay.
that's there to cook, clean,
And
babysit,
just go. And just go. Okay.
and they're getting paid minimum wage
No
in a city where
conversation.
if you're paid 40 hours a week minimum wage,
yeah.
you're not living in San Francisco at that rate. You're commuting or sharing a bedroom, or it's pretty rough.
Okay.
I'm hiring people that the money helps pay for a trip to Hawaii.
Oh, some people supplemental income.
I tell people, don't pay your rent and mortgage working for me.
Oh, right.
I'm extra spending cash.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
an artist, you buy the jazzier paint. Oop, sorry.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
working for
So
me.
you
That's the
pay your
idea.
little artistic endeavors with it.
Yeah, or you love baseball. I've had a wonderful man from the East Bay that's worked for me for years. Usually sees like 3 clients
So
a week.
he buy a baseball season tickets.
Pretty much, yeah. And then, he has some other interests that I'm sure we help fund too. So the other nice part about working for us is we work with communities not only individually with residents,
Yeah.
but we provide group programming. So sometimes we have lectures on astronomy, Russian history. I just interviewed a wonderful African historian that is in particular sort of interested in British colonization of Africa. So he's going to give a whole lecture series for us, sort of starting with the Berlin Conference.
Okay.
So that same person, who is working on being a professor,
Yeah.
can give historical talks in a retirement community,
Wow.
but then also maybe geek out with a retired professor about various sort of historical periods, or help someone else on the computer, on a weekly basis.
Yeah, you are yourself pretty educated, so you have a broad range of topics in your head because you probably studied many topics, so you can relate many of the needs yourself, even though you don't specialize in any one need.
I think what I bring to the table in terms of what we do
Yeah,
is
understanding each case.
I do have a varied background, and I'm not necessarily interested
Yeah.
in everything that potential clients are interested in, right?
Okay, okay.
But I can do my best to relate to someone and get to know them
And
and figure out
understand
who the
each-
right person is to connect with them
The
around
match.
their interest.
Does the city and county, for example, of San Francisco pay you sometimes?
Oh, never. So we don't get a penny of outside funding. We've had instances where someone's passed away
Yeah,
and left us money.
yeah.
Rather than directly take it as an LLC, what
Yeah.
we've done is we've found nonprofits that sort of share a similar vision to us, and
Oh.
we've had the money routed by the sort of estate trustees to that nonprofit.
Really?
And then they have a pool of money, so it's, say, a lower income HUD community on the peninsula.
They can use it to
They
hire
use
you.
that funding, and then what we do is we just give them programming at cost. So
Okay.
what it does is we don't make a penny off it, but it sort of honors the spirit of what the original sort of gift to us would have been.
Oh, and then they hire you with that money.
Yeah, so then it's a great way for me to have someone that loves poetry, knows it inside out, has a graduate degree in it,
Yeah,
and they can create their own poetry workshop series at this community,
yeah.
make a few extra dollars working for us,
Yeah.
and it frankly makes them more loyal to us because they're visiting a couple clients, and they also get this other cool opportunity. So it's just a way to,
Yes, this way it's a win-win situation. They get the money and they also refer people to you.
No, they don't really refer people to us. It's more just we can provide a service to a lower income community that way.
Okay.
So what's striking is just how expensive it is to get older, right?
Oh, okay.
So you'll hear statistics: 9 out of 10 people want to live at home versus move into a facility. But whether you're at home or in a facility, it can get really expensive.
Really?
Oh, yeah, you're looking at think of as San Francisco now, as of July 1st,
It's very
2018,
expensive to live here.
it's $15 an hour is minimum wage.
Right.
So let's say a home care agency is marking that up 2.5 times
Yeah.
for profit.
Yeah.
You're looking at $37.50 an hour for home care potentially.
Okay, and who can pay that?
Very wealthy people.
Right.
So people that are lower income, there's some wonderful, HUD communities out there that have long waiting lists.
Wow.
But folks in the middle sort of get squeezed. So
Okay.
right now, I might have a 90-year-old or an 80-year-old retired librarian,
Okay.
from Alameda or San Francisco,
Okay.
that they bought a house ages ago in the Bay Area,
Yeah.
and through a reverse mortgage, a pension, some combination
They're
thereof,
living that way.
they could have 24-hour home care.
Yeah.
Plus, my folks can come a handful of times a week and sort of bring that human connection to them,
Okay.
and they can age in place pretty well.
Okay.
Librarians and school teachers today in San Francisco, it's really hard just to pay the rent, let alone even dream of buying a house. So I think in the same way that the people that I'm directly hiring to do the work
Yeah.
have somewhat shifted from sort of creatively employed 30, 40 something to recent retirees, homemakers easing their way back into the workforce.
Yeah.
I think the people that I'm serving, assuming I'm doing this 20, 30 years from now, which I hope to be doing, I think it's going to be a lot less retired librarians.
Really?
Yeah, just because of the cost of living here. It might be someone from Google or who knows, but maybe technology eliminates the need to bring a human being into someone's life. We'll see. But I think who I'm serving,
Yeah.
it's not as going to be as broad a range of people in terms of professions and economics 20 years from now as it is today.
But let's say someone is 65 collecting Social Security.
Sure.
Are they allowed to have a paycheck too?
Yes.
They are. Okay.
Yeah. The key is, my understanding, I don't know the exact age stuff because I'm
Yeah.
a little ways from Social Security myself.
Yeah.
But my understanding is if you start to collect early
Yeah.
and you're getting a paycheck, I believe there's something.
You have to give something.
But once you hit a certain age, I believe it's fair game
It's
and you
all
can
yours.
continue
Okay.
to collect.
So yeah, you can potentially hire people who are collecting Social Security
My rule of thumb is I sort of ask everyone, are you in a situation
where you need extra.
are you looking for full-time work? Like,
Oh.
why are you coming to me?
Okay.
And when people start saying, can you stack 2 or 3 clients in a day for me?
Oh.
That's a
That
red
mean-
flag.
that mean they need
They're trying
the money.
to maximize their money. I'm looking for people that
They don't really need it.
it's not so much they don't really need it. Like, it helps, but it's not going to make or break them. So if the person they're visiting
Yeah.
is sick for a couple weeks,
They
the
can
lack
live.
of being paid isn't going to
Is-
make or break them.
All right. Got
So
it.
I'm looking for people that are in stable situations.
Of course.
So it's hard to find, but if you work hard
yeah.
enough, you can.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are looking like for a little gig here and there.
Yeah, it's different than the gig economy.
Okay.
I'm facilitating like a meaningful human connection
Yeah.
that I can't have someone jump in and out of someone's life, right?
Okay.
I'm bringing someone into someone's life that there's a reason why we're there. They're having a
Okay.
hard time connecting with others in the outside world.
Right.
So if I bring someone in and my person were to, after 3, 4 visits or 2, 3 months, says, hey, it's been fun, good luck to you, bye. It makes it so much harder for me to bring someone else into that person's life.
Oh.
So I'm looking for people at a bare minimum, give me 6 months, if
Okay.
not longer.
You need some stability.
Yeah, so that I have some clients that say you can only visit us at 1 o'clock on a Monday. I have to be really careful with that. And I'll say, I've got a great person for you, but given the nature of their profession, they might need to shift 6 months from now if they're a nurse and they work on schedule, on a quarterly basis. We might need to shift them to Wednesdays. Is that okay with you?
Oh, okay.
So I have to sort of make sure that it's going to work for both people, but I can't have people that work a little bit at a time.
yeah, you're
and
not a
jump ship.
temp agency. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does more harm than good. So my biggest fear is hiring someone
Yeah.
that pats themselves on the back for collecting a paycheck for making someone smile for
Oh.
a handful of weeks or months,
Okay.
and then vanishes or gives me 2 weeks notice.
Oh, okay.
That stinks
Because you
I have
have
to go
to-
back to that family and say that person jumped ship. So I really make sure in our hiring process.
That the person is more stable.
And look, I'm not perfect. Once in a blue moon, I do hire someone that sort of moves on.
Yeah.
But I've gotten much, much better over the years, I think, in really sort of figuring out what story makes sense, what's the real motivation.
Oh yeah, yeah. 10 years is a big investment of your life
Yeah, this
already.
is my career. I
Oh,
mean,
you made it a career.
I've done
Yeah,
this full time for 10 years.
yeah, yeah. But a career. That mean you're gonna do something more. Are you gonna expand nationwide?
Zero desire. So
Zero.
I think we live in a world
Yeah.
where everyone's fixated on scalability and
Okay.
growth, and
That's not you.
I look, I have my little piece of San Francisco. I've got my son, my wife,
Yeah.
and I'm a happy person. And
Right.
I don't want to fly to Florida to get a franchise off the ground.
Oh, okay.
I'd much rather come home and spend the evening with my kid,
Okay.
rather than give talks. Doesn't mean I'm not on call and that I won't get a phone call here and there if, someone's concerned about something. But to me,
You can be a public speaker, maybe. I mean,
how much is too much? And my feeling is, look, I like what I do. It makes me feel good. I'm not hurting anyone.
of
I
course.
go to sleep at night and I make an honest buck.
Okay,
And
no, no. I mean, public speakers usually provide also a service by informing people. You could speak maybe to doctors in geriatric, for example,
no,
and
I mean I've gone to a couple of universities, and been flown out to
as
give
a
talks
speakers.
as a speaker about our
Okay.
program and been
Yeah,
invited.
yeah,
And that's fun.
yeah,
But frankly, more fun to me is walking into someone's house, whether it's in like Mill Valley or Alameda or
and
San
finding out their
Mateo,
needs.
walking in and sort of kicking the tires and going, "Oh, cool. What a neat life." And what can I do to make this person feel happy?
Oh,
And then bringing someone in and making a match.
wow.
It's rewarding, and it also informs a lot of my own life, right? So it's one thing to sit across from someone that's 95, content, maybe has mild memory, challenges, call it mild cognitive impairment. It's a touch forgetful in the short term, but seems content with life and they're happy. And you meet some people like that, but I spend a lot of time meeting families that their retirement didn't go as planned because someone got Parkinson's,
Oh,
or someone's got severe depression, or someone who just, got a kid through college is now focused on their elderly parent and
oh.
they're burned
So you
out.
come in and you help.
Yeah, and it also just in my own life says, gosh darn it, book as many vacations as I can, slow life down as much as possible,
You never know when it's gonna be the end. Okay.
and don't chase every last buck or possession. I mean, it's like you can cling to stuff around you,
Yeah.
but it's human connections and friendships that I think at the end of the day are the most important thing. So,
Yeah, you probably have hundreds of friends now.
no, I'm
No, I mean,
selective. I've got enough people to keep me sane and happy, but I'd say honestly, the vast majority of people I hire,
yeah.
I genuinely like. It doesn't mean I'd want to have them over to dinner at my house on a weekly basis,
No, no.
but there are plenty of people that I hire that I go to baseball games with. We just catch up over a cup of coffee beyond sort of regular stuff.
Yeah.
And it's fun when someone that worked for me and moved back to the Midwest 7 years ago
Okay.
routes their friends that are moving to the Bay Area to work for me. That's the cool
Oh,
part is
yeah.
it tells me they felt respected. I paid them on time. I'm a nice person and I'm supportive.
Yeah, it hurts also maybe when you lose a client because they. Yeah, maybe.
Some clients sting me. There's one over on Texas Street in Potrero Hill, not too far from where we're
It passed
recording
away.
this.
Yeah.
Passed away maybe 3 years ago, and I kid you not, every time I sort of in that area, I think of
You
her.
remember?
And I had two people visiting her for years, and I'd drop by and see her as well. But she was cool.
Yeah.
She sort of would have been my dream neighbor.
Really?
That outside of doing what I do, if she was just my neighbor, it would have been fun to sort of schmooze with her.
Yeah.
And certain people really stick with you, and my feelings about death and sort of life in general have changed from the work that I do. Like some people I feel like are just ready to go.
Yeah.
And I actually have a feeling of relief. I mean, I'm sad and I sort of miss the void. There's a void in my life.
Yeah.
But it's you can tell like they were content.
Okay. You help make the end better.
Yeah, versus some people, it's so painful when you see the family and someone, they're just, it's hospital visits constantly. It's every imaginable swallowing experts coming in and just tons of moving parts. And you see the family caregiver losing years of their life, As much as we provide a respite to families, when you've got someone that's got swallowing experts, tons of medical stuff going on, and you're yelling at the facility because they're not doing stuff right or they're messing up the medications, it's exhausting for a family.
It is.
And I literally see someone taking years off their life, taking care of their loved one. It stinks.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah. There's both sides. It could hurt the family and the person going through all that. I went through that a few years ago, but the whole thing is actually a service, even though you're not nonprofit.
No, and I think, whether it's nonprofit or for profit, like
It's a
at the end
service.
of the day, you do what you do and you should feel good about it, right?
Yeah, you
So,
provided something that relieved the family.
yeah, and I think, like, so my wife works in a nonprofit
Oh,
and
really?
they do wonderful work. It's in the educational space. And, there's a part of me that is sort of not jealous, but there's a touch of envy when I see they've got this really cool 25 person office, and the people, it's a real community and sort of the work that they do.
Uh huh.
There's a lot of warmth, within that office and community. I spend a lot of time, frankly, in my car driving to people's houses,
Okay,
trying to
but you
figure out
don't
how to
work with
help
the
them.
you don't
And I've
work
got
with the
I've got
team.
some people that help me
Oh, you
doing
do?
recruiting in my office,
Okay.
but I'm not there constantly because I'm out checking up on clients. I'm there meeting new families. I'm interviewing people to work for us.
Oh,
I spend a lot of time
on the field.
out in the field because it's the best part of what I do. I don't want to be cracking a whip, looking at metrics numbers. I want to be focused on each family we work with and making
Yeah,
sure.
but you don't go visit people while they're on the job, though. I mean,
I
you
do
let
on
them.
occasion.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, what I'd say is I'm not checking up on 38 people a week,
No,
but
but
I
on a,
casually drop in
uh,
unannounced to make sure what they're doing.
is right.
Yeah, so
Okay.
to make sure what's being reported back works. I also have people on my team that have worked for me for a long time that they pop in as well. So
Okay.
the idea is you've worked for me for 4 or 5 years. Here's a way I can pay you a few extra hours to drop in on this client where this visit's supposed to be taking place, just to offer
Okay.
an extra set of eyes and perspective.
Oh, okay. Okay, so now you have your team pretty much in place.
Yeah, because there's no aspiration to take over the entire Bay Area. It's like I do what I do really well.
Why? You have competition? You don't.
I do.
You mean some other people provide that service?
Not really, but what I do have is ultimately most people only have so many dollars to spend, right?
Okay, okay.
So if you're looking at a family that says we have X dollars per month
Okay.
and we need home care, we need something else.
You
cer-
try to help them find everything?
Yeah, like sometimes I'm not the right service. So
Okay.
a family that we recently started working with, I thought we knocked the match out of the park.
Okay.
Really cool pairing. Both people love to go on outings to like gardens and things along those lines and
Okay.
antiques.
Okay.
Great pairing. But then the family was worried about their mom's sort of long-term ability to live at home independently.
Okay.
And based off the feedback I was getting from my team member, I didn't think it was safe even in the short term.
Okay.
So I've been working with them to
To
get
help
us out
her.
of the mix so
Okay.
that they can be in a cost situation that will take care of things for their mom and make sure she's safe. They're not
Okay.
in a position to move her into an assisted living and then add lots of social activities beyond what the assisted living provides.
Okay.
So the goal is to find them a cost-effective solution where the mom's safe, not
Okay.
to continue the outings long term. So
Okay.
it's, you know,
You have to make the decision on case by case basis.
yeah, and like also, is my service really going to benefit the person, right? So it's a hard thing. There's one client I've individually seen for I want to say 5 or 6 years now. That when I first was meeting her, I take her out once a week. She's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
She was sort of old school San Francisco, like loved shopping in downtown, like Emporium, places like that, all the old sort of stores. And she's sort of like a pistol, for lack of a better way to put it. Just was this neat
She likes
5 foot tall bundle of positive vibes.
Oh,
And
good.
she loved to go out, have a bite to eat, schmooze, chat up people, and needed sort of a social arm crutch to go with her. And I served at that. And as her dementia's progressed, she has a hard time putting sentences together,
Oh.
but she understands her environment around her, and she also sees me, and I'm her buddy, and there's a look in her eye that she knows who I am.
Okay.
And in that case, I feel like there's a real meaning and impact. She's happy to go out with me. She high-fives me when I come in. She hops in the car. We go get a bite to eat. We chat up people. It's a great time. Even though she can't put sort of words together the same way she once could, she's still happy, and my presence makes a difference compared to the caregiver that lives with her full-time.
Okay.
To get her out once a week is still really meaningful and impactful.
Okay.
Versus there are other people that I feel like there's a certain point where maybe a traditional caregiver is more appropriate.
Okay.
or someone better versed in sensory tactile stuff because the person's dementia has progressed to a point beyond sort of the original match's sort of toolkit and capability.
Uh-huh.
So we bow out. Sometimes the family asks us to keep on going
Yeah.
because I think we almost represent something. And as long as my person's comfortable and I know the family can, afford it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I don't like to take money unless we're actually helping. What's the point?
Yeah, I think it's admirable that with all your education, you choose to go into a field that most young people wouldn't go into. I mean, it's such going beyond looking at your own self-interest to do that, isn't it?
Yes, but you know something? It's also understanding myself, right? So I think
Okay.
sometimes we're very focused on like a trade or a profession.
Yeah.
And so my father's an actuary, my mother's a writer,
Yeah.
and so I'm pretty good at math and English.
Right.
But the reality is, the type of actuary my father is, he's a pension actuary.
Oh.
Pensions aren't big business anymore. Fortunately, he's pretty much retired. And
Okay.
he had a nice career. The reality is, if I told my dad I wanted to be a pension actuary today, he'd probably talk me out of it.
Okay.
So what seems like a great bet in the 1970s when he started his career, there are no guarantees. The same people that make a lot of money doing computer programming today,
They might be out
20 years from now,
It's all
automation,
outdated.
computers, or when I was in college, the safe bet felt like go be a lawyer. If you're
Oh.
reasonably smart, automation, mergers in the legal field.
Did
it's-
you like to do that?
Oh, never. Oh, I
Never?
grew up in a neighborhood filled with lawyers. No interest. But
Okay.
there are no guarantees in terms of careers.
Oh,
And
yeah,
to-
that's true. That's true. I learned computer programming a few years ago, and now they're all obsolete. Everything I learned doesn't match anymore.
And my rule of thumb is like I've worked in businesses like at a telecommunications company. I worked at an educational company as well out of college.
Oh, okay.
And I'm good at managing people and creating systems to monitor things. I've got a
Yeah.
good sort of
A people
mathematical
person. You are a people person.
that's process focused too. So what I'm able to do is I'm curious about people.
Yeah.
And what I do professionally now allows me to meet tons of people and hear cool stories and sort of stretch myself.
Yeah.
You know,
And you use everything you learned in school for that,
not
right?
just school, but life, right?
In life,
You know,
yeah. You learn this
I've
and there.
spent several years traveling, in different parts of the world, and I think that's made a big impact on myself.
Oh, wow.
And sort of, it's
You,
shaped
you
by...
understand life a little bit better by traveling? I don't know.
I think it's not a bad thing to pull yourself outside of your comfort zone
Yes.
and get some perspective on who you were at a certain point in your life, right?
Okay.
And I was fortunate at like 19 or 20 to spend a year in Africa, which was pretty, it was pretty powerful on me.
Oh, yeah.
And then some time in Asia and Central America, probably like 3 years total traveling beyond that. And it allowed me to sort of figure out what's important and what isn't, for
Okay.
myself. And
Yes.
people are wired differently and gravitate towards different things.
Okay, well, I'm glad you were able to match a career based on your values and based on your beliefs that life is something different than what maybe school tells you to do or whatever. But you decided this is at least a good cause where I can also make a living. And that's
Exactly.
good. And that's good that you matched both.
I fell into it, right?
Yeah, you fell into it, and you don't feel bad about it.
I've got friends that in high school knew they wanted to be a doctor. They became a doctor.
Yeah.
Some are happy, some are not. I have friends
Oh.
that are miserable with what they do.
Really?
It's kind of like you look at a relationship. You never
Yeah.
know people's pillow talk. It looks
Right.
great on the surface.
Right.
Professionally, you never know people's, real feelings.
Yeah.
But your good friends you tend to know. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Same with me. Everybody tells me you got to be a coder, a computer programmer, but I didn't want to be in front of a computer all day.
that's probably not the right career for you.
That was
right.
I said no after I
Yeah.
graduated. I said no, that's not for me. So I had to do something else.
Yeah, videography clearly works for you. So
Yeah, videography. I actually did some biography on videos.
Uh-huh.
And it's the same kind of situation when the person passes away. I say, oh my God, I recorded
Sure.
the person's life and it's all gone now. It's not the same service, but
No, but a lot of what we do is I'm bringing someone in to tap into someone's long-term memory. So, more often than not, people's short-term memory goes before someone's long-term memory, right?
Oh, okay.
So if your sweet spot's long-term memory and you're sitting across from someone that grew up in Minnesota, New
And they tell you
Orleans,
their story.
you get their home address, you show them a Google Street View of what their house looks like today, you go up and down the street, they
Yeah.
see their elementary school,
Yeah.
they mention a friend, you look them up, they mention an interest or a place, you can show
Wow.
them visuals.
Wow.
It's the same thing. You're maybe you're not formally slicing and dicing, some video to make a compelling biographical video.
Yeah.
But you're essentially
You helping.
you're pulling someone's stories out of them that need help in the same way that a fresh set of ears and eyes can really benefit someone. Just it's a different perspective.
Yeah.
I'm bringing in someone that has no family baggage, no family history, has never heard the stories.
Yes.
So they're coming in and this is new to them. Even if the
Right.
person's repetitive,
Right.
I sort of challenge people. I say, well, what can you do to pull out a new story, this week? Let's get something new out of them.
The family want to record the stories?
Some
No.
do. No, some do. And what I tell people is, look, if you're looking for a hardbound professional book or a real video, there's services that can do that, and I
Yeah.
can help you,
Find the
connect to
service.
something.
Yeah.
If your main focus is the social
Maybe
piece
just
of this,
audio. Yeah.
yeah, through like an iPhone or a Samsung
You can
Galaxy,
record the conversation.
you can record, you can videotape. There's one client we recently matched up actually in The Haight.
Yeah.
It's a retired music professor, really neat guy.
He had a lot of memories. Yeah.
So I matched him up with another guy with a PhD that's worked for me for a long time that isn't a professional videographer or biographer, but knows how to pepper someone with questions and when talking about the past and ask the right question. Says like, what did your mom's home smell like when you came home from school?
Wow.
Was she constantly cooking? And then he says, oh yeah, she used to make this recipe. It's someone who knows that sort of smells and other things pulls memories out.
Yeah.
So what he does is he just records
He just
them.
records it.
And then we send the log to the
family.
and we say, look, you can do something with this down the line.
Yeah. And
But-
when the person passes away, you have.
But we're
memory.
not miking someone up the way you've done here.
Of course,
It's
of
much
course.
more casual and
Yeah,
informal.
yeah. You, especially with iPhone now, you can do everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, so it's an extra service that you can provide if the family wants
And
memories.
the same way that like reporting, right? We're not writing a 15-page essay
Of
after every
course.
time we visit someone.
Yeah.
We're reporting what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And we're talking 4 or 5 sentences, and certainly a phone call if something's pressing.
Yeah.
But it's more about the actual experience together than a tangible end product or a formal report after each session.
Wow, this is fascinating. You provide so much, and it's really a good service actually, especially
Thank you.
where people are traveling all over the United States now. They don't stay in the same homes.
And it's just too like raising a child in the city. My wife works full time. I work full time and then some with what I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And I like to be home and see my kid. So
Yeah.
it's like I think to myself, like as my parents get older, taking care of them in addition to my it's hard. You need help. Whether
Yeah.
it's your extended community or something sort of less formalized in a program like ours.
Yeah.
Some people are fortunate to have, lots of family or friends
Yeah.
that can pitch in.
Yeah.
Others aren't.
Yeah.
Even the folks with tons of family that can pitch in, sometimes they need something more formal and sort of, like set in stone. Like every Wednesday someone comes versus their friend says, oh, I can't. I'm going to Panama for 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
got to skip.
Yeah, yeah. In the old days, people lived in the same town forever. And at 18, everybody moves to their university of their choice across the country or across air. And all of a sudden, the family gets dismantled.
And
so-
it's not just about universities. What it is there's been a real shift in America, right?
Yeah.
Where we're very focused on certain cities, coastal cities, and certain parts of the country are booming.
Yeah.
So if you're young and want work, you're going
You
to New
move.
York, San Francisco,
And you-
Boston,
and you
DC,
leave home, yeah.
Austin, Portland, what have you, and you're leaving home, right? So Main Street USA is pretty dead. So, 50, 60 years ago when you could have, opened up a law practice in a small town in upstate New York,
Yeah.
it's much harder to do today. So
Yes.
that's why families are more spread out.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed that the dismantling of the family is a big issue in America. It's like people don't expect their family to stay together past the person age 18, and then That's
I mean,
or 21.
in full disclosure, I moved back in with my parents, I think, at 23 or 24
Yeah.
before I went to grad school for about
Okay.
9 months to save
Okay.
up money.
Okay.
And it was
So
interesting at
happens.
that
It
age to live with
happens.
mom and
It
dad. But
happens. It
yeah,
happens.
but I've got a
Yes.
great relationship and great parents,
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
it
That's
makes a big
awesome.
difference.
Yeah, so it was a pleasure to find out more about your organization.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very good service that you provide. I thank you for taking the time to be here.
Awesome.
Has
Thank you.
been very good to talk to you. Thank you very much. I'll send it to you as soon as I can.
No rush,
And
whenever.
whenever. Okay, thank you so much.
Cool,
I'm glad
thanks.
I met you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.